Oh, hi. I'm Lyle, and this is the Abecedary. Today's word is Barbatulous, which means having a small beard. I will be continuing the story that I started last week about how the Abecedary came to be. After sailing up the fjord of Kent, we docked in the port of London. I bid my crewmates ciao and made my way up the dock. It was freezing cold out. I had been drugged and put on a ship against my will, so I hadn't had a chance to pack a winter coat. I didn't know that I was going to the end of the earth. I also didn't know where I was going now that I was here. Fortunately, I didn't have to think about this very long or make any sort of independent decision about the problem, because I was approached by a man wearing a tartar hat and a tartan kilt. He asked if I was Lyle, and I said yes, and then he introduced himself as Quango. Quango Pudding from the Off-Qual Secret Police, and extended a hand. I reached to shake it, and he slapped me in the face.
You went and fucked up your A-levels, Yankee. Now I have to take you up the tallest mountain in Britain and deal with the insufferable clerks on the word committee to see what they want to do with you.
I stared at him blankly. Dude, I don't understand anything you just said. He ignored me and said we would be leaving town in the morning, then turned to go back to his hotel room. We trundled our way over the snow, through the crowds, across town. I was lucky it was busy. Pressed in by hulking Londoners, their massive turf bangs and Make England Mercy Again hat brims shielded me from the blizzard. While we were going, I caught sight of the many wonders of London that you've surely heard of. You know them. Tower of London Bridge, Eyes on London, the Jerkin, the Shard, the 50-foot magnifying glass, other people's art, and of course, Big Ben and Westminster and Eastminster Abbeys. I basically got the full tour. Later that night, I lay on the carpet, stared at the popcorn ceiling in the dark, and thought about how I got here. Not many thoughts. I still had a pretty low vocabulary, and trying to change that at this late hour in life was kind of where all my troubles began. Or maybe they started with standardized testing? No. My problems are singularly my own fault. There's no structural, there's no material limitations to them, just like everybody else. In his sleep, Quango Pudding rolled over on top of two stacked-up queen-size mattresses. He let out a long, wheezy fart. The next morning, he took me to the hotel's garage. Or garage? Garage. Garage? Garge? The hotel's garage? He took me out to the garage and introduced me to his horse, Laurie, and his donkey, Pram.
This is my horse, Laurie, and me donkey, Pram.
Quango saddled up Laurie. Several bellhops helped me climb aboard Pram. So began the next leg of my journey. The walls of London at our backs, we made our way out into the icy wilderness. We spent the next 2 weeks riding, all day, every day, in sleet, hail, snow, and occasionally blinding sunshine. We went up foothills to the base of a vast mountain range. It was here that we took a welcome break at a service station. We traded in our mounts for mountaineering gear. This was a teary goodbye, with hugs all around as we said farewell to Laurie and Pram, exchanging email addresses with promises to write. And I did. I kept in touch. Laurie is currently the manager of a primo deli. And Pram, get this, Pram met a beautiful Frisian horse, got married, had a bunch of little mules, was shot at work during a robbery by an off-duty cop, but he survived. He won a huge settlement for the city, and then he traveled the world with his family, but is now battling melanoma. Stay strong, Pram. Prayers up. Before we left the service station, Quango gestured at the mountain range, which he informed me was Oxfordshire. He jabbed a finger at a faraway mountain hidden between fat, angry clouds. Mount Oxford, our destination. What followed was 2 more weeks of travel, up cliff faces and inching along a narrow mountain trail. I got to know Quango during this time. I learned he was recruited into the secret police as a boy from a booth at his school. His parents had sued the Department for Education to get their son back, but by the time the case was ruled on, Quango was of legal age, and he had no desire to return to his parents' home. Besides, a secret policeman's life was much more exciting than working in Ma and Pa's textile factory. After a few years as a junior cadet, he was assigned to the Assassinations Division. However, this department was not what it used to be in the 20th century. These days, it's mostly pushing papers, signing off on targeted killings, staring at a big disposition matrix all day, opening up new active battlefield columns, and checking off high-value targets, which they all are. Quango jumped ship just before it started sinking. Most of the division was going to be replaced by AI. He pulled some strings and managed to move to where the real action was. Qualifications and examinations regulation. Now, here was some interesting work. Consulting eldritch wizards to fix the price of test prep tomes. High-wire diplomacy to secure exam questions from the Sphinx. And venturing into the Scantron's lair, risking dismemberment to feed the ravenous monstrosity. And now, delivering an American with a vocab score so low that theorists were revising the outer limit of failure to the top of the highest mountain in England, where the English language sprang from. No doubt for some sort of deliciously ironic punishment. I also learned Quango's favorite color is red. His favorite food is chicken tikka, and in his free time, he likes to watch football. As the second week on foot came to a close, we began the final ascent on Mount Oxford. From this distance, I could see there was a temple near the peak, jutting out of the cliff face. Before going further, Quango stopped me. He knelt, plucked a small blue flower from the thinning shrubland. He stuck it in the lapel of my jacket. Oh, that's right, I have a jacket now, which is a Canada Goose jacket, by the way. A little further, we passed through a small hamlet of yokel shepherds. As we entered town, people retreated to their hovels. Doors slammed. A father spoke his weird language again.
Om de woorden van anderen te manipuleren, moet je je eigen woorden beheersen. Ben je klaar?
Again, Quango translated.
To manipulate the words of others, you must first master your own. Are you ready?
Was I? Find out next time on the Abecedary. Until then, enjoy this comic, beardos!